So at this point, we've got some volume already lined up with our yellow ochre and our cool color. And now the only thing I'm going to be bringing into my palette is some burnt umber. Burnt umber is fabulous for getting even more contrast, particularly in our warm areas. I'll probably refrain from using it in my cooler areas. I'd be okay with it because I'm using green, which is a relatively warm cool. But if you're using blue or purple, you might want to refrain from it. You could feel it out and see how it goes. So I'm going to use that burnt umber to just get my darkest darks even darker now, get more contrast and get more volume. So I'll be paying attention to the hair, particularly the eyes and eyelashes, eyebrows, nostrils, in between the lips and the mouth, and some of these shadows below the face and on the neck. Certainly the collar here. Let's see here. If you don't feel comfortable diving in with full darkness, don't do it yet. Add some water in and keep that brown kind of liquidy or solvent if you're using oil paint. And just start out with your darkest darks. I'll be leaving a lot of these ochres as midtones, and I'm going to keep leaving the whites of the canvas white for now as my highlights. I'm not going to bring in any white paint unless I make a mistake and need to cover something up, or until I get to step 4 and I actually need to start putting in local color. So let's go right in for our darkest darks, which are going to be those pupils again. And I think I need to get the paint a little thicker for me so it'll actually stick well and won't just kind of slide right off. There you go. So pupils first, outside of the iris. Then we can do eyelashes. Eyelids. Okay, there we go. Sometimes it's handy to have kind of a drier brush on hand. It's a little bit easier to blend with. I like to have a whole range of brushes, dry ones, wet ones, so I can just kind of get whatever kind of texture I need. I'll have some brushes around for highlights, some brushes around for shadows and darker colors. That keeps me from having to remix constantly, which can be really nice. If you need to come back in with some yellow ochre now, go right for it. It can help you reestablish some midtones that you maybe haven't gotten yet. I think I am going to go in with some of the burnt umber on this green area, just because I need to get quite a bit darker where it is, and I know that green umber is going to need to, that green is going to need to neutralize a little bit later on. I'm not going to keep it quite so saturated, so it's okay if I lose some of that in the case of this painting. And I'm just going to finish this up by getting some of my darkest darks even darker. And there we go. We've got a pretty rough outline of where all the shadows can go. I might get a little darker into some areas in the hair to really push that contrast a little further, but I think this is probably about 99% of the way there right now. We'll let this dry, and then we'll move on to local color. I often like to do local color my first day, but this also can be a really good time to let your painting dry and just come back to it another day too. Depends on how much time you have.